Now everybody's got some professional camera in their pockets or the HD videos that can get posted. So I hear you. Like, teach your children not to do stupid things.
What were you thinking about using this for?
My neighbor, he's got like a cat. It's just kind of...
Yeah. You guys can get out.
Can he buy one?
No, it's time to go.
Frick.
I know we're living in a communist country. That guy just denied us our Second Amendment right.
Maybe that's what the title of this episode should be. Can you sue someone for posting a picture? Just don't do stupid things and we don't even have to talk about them.
This is Blaine Cluton for Ask a Lawyer. I'm joined in a studio from an undisclosed location by Andrew McGuire. Andrew, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Blaine, and I am joining you from another undisclosed location, a new spot this time, actually.
A standing desk.
A standing desk. Yes, it's very cool. I'm excited to talk to you about this topic, but do you want to kick us off or you want me to jump straight into it?
Well, let's get on with our headlines here. So I'm an attorney. I'm not your attorney. Andrew is a layman posing questions that he receives either from online or directly from folks. I'm going to say that if you have questions at the end of any one of these sessions, then you should talk to an attorney. This is not legal advice. It's a good starting point. So with that, I'm going to call this podcast session to order. Please be seated. Andrew, why don't you get us kicked off with what our topic is?
Well, just for the record, and I want to make sure this is in the record, I'm standing, not sitting. So I'm not going to be sitting down doing this one because I'm pretty excited about it. But the topic that we're talking about is, can you sue someone for posting a picture of you? And when we go through this conversation, I have a few different examples of what we're going to talk about, whether we're talking about the photographer who took the picture or the person that is in the picture. But the subtopic headers that we're going to get into are, can you sue someone for posting a picture without your consent? Can I sue someone for using my picture, which is the photographer talking? And then the third question is, can someone take a photo of you without your permission? So,
okay, well, lead the way. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, well, your picture really has two meanings, right? So if I, Andrew, am appearing in the photo versus me, like I was saying, the photographer behind it. So let me go straight to one of these examples. So let's talk about porn for a second. There is a cover on a DVD. So there was a DVD years ago that took a picture of someone, put it on the DVD, and her name was Laura Jade Coton, who was a professional photographer and did a self-portrait of herself and found it on a DVD and sued the company that did this, right? So this is an example of don't steal photos for porn. But this is an example of someone took a picture, a self-portrait of themselves, and a company decided, I'm going to take that and just put it on my DVD and use it for this porn video without even asking, right? Which is clearly the wrong thing to do, but I could tell you what happened, but I wanted to get your opinion on what you think about someone just literally taking, this is a interesting one because it's a photographer who did a self-portrait. So not only is the photographer the one that's responsible for the picture that they took, but they're the one in the picture.
So you have multiple layers. You've got copyright infringement potentially. And then I think that the big one here, though, is that in almost every state, there are laws that prevent the use of both a name and likeness for commercial purposes. So if you're using somebody's picture and you haven't appropriately obtained their consent or got the rights to that picture, and then you're just using it in that way that you've described, then certainly that's for commercial purposes. And yes, you would have a case.
But what's interesting about this is that she was actually a UK citizen and had to bring her case to the US to a state court. Anyway, it was just an interesting one. And she was awarded, so after 3 years in court, she was awarded $130,000 in damages for copyright infringement, misappropriation of her image, and professional humiliation. Like, that one's pretty clear and concise. I think some of these others that I have, this is another interesting one that I want to talk about, where it kind of crosses into two worlds. A photographer broke into a plantation years ago and took a picture. So when you're taking a picture on private property, can I just do that? Can I just run around to private property, take pictures, and then anything that I take a picture of, if I'm a photographer, like I can pose that? Or because it's private property, I have to get the property owner's permission to do so?
Please do not do that. Please do not go onto other people's property and break in or do whatever and start taking pictures. There's this idea in the law where you can take photographs from a lawful vantage point. So if there was like a built-up berm on the exterior of a piece of property and you could access it legally, it was from a common area, it wasn't part of somebody's personal private property with, no trespassing, that you could go up there and take a picture. But even then, if you're using some sort of telescopic lens, I'm going to recommend that you talk to an attorney before you start doing stuff like that.
You mean I shouldn't break onto private property to start taking pictures of random things just to see if I could sell them?
So I can't give legal advice, but it violates the rules of common sense.
Okay. Well, let's go back to the original topic. I feel like that one's interesting, and the outcome we can talk about another time. So can you use someone's picture? If I look at Twitter, right, or Facebook, and I take a picture on there and repost it, is that something that I can do where I can like take someone else's picture basically and repost it for my own use because it's already out there, or no?
So generally, it's going to depend on how you're using that picture. If you have a business page and you're reusing it for some commercial purpose, then that's probably not allowed. If you're doing it as part of an explanation or to share, it really is a question of what's the reason behind why you're reposting it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
again, when you start getting into intellectual property rights and whether or not it's fair use versus commercial use, for your particular facts, I'm going to recommend that you talk to an attorney before you do anything, especially if you're doing something related to a business, because I don't want somebody to hear something and say, this is great. It's fair use, can totally just reuse pictures for commercial purposes. That's what I took away from this whole thing. Don't do that.
Okay. So the original question though is, can I sue someone for posting a picture without my consent? So for commercial, I hear you loud and clear. Like I can't just take someone, like I take a picture of you, Blaine, and I put it up as Blaine is the picture of my company. That obviously is not something that can be done because that's for commercial use. But what if I just took a picture of you, you're walking down the street, and post it up and write something on Facebook about you, but it's not for commercial use, right? It's just me posting a picture of you.
So in general, posting photos, we've been saying pictures and photos, but my wife would kill me if we referred to them as pictures. They're not pictures, they're photos.
Photos.
It treads on privacy law. So the touchstone is really privacy law, but with a strong intersection in the First Amendment laws. And generally speaking, First Amendment laws are going to trump privacy laws almost every time. So one of the questions that I have is whether this might be invasion of privacy. And the facts that you're describing, I would review those with an attorney to see if you might have sufficient facts for a case. The facts are really important. Things like, where was the photo taken? How were the photos used? We talked about the laws that prevent using the likeness for commercial purposes, but there's other common laws that prevent you from doing basically the same thing. Photos that are used to elevate a social status can have the same effect. So that can be the evasion of privacy by appropriation. The biggest thing that you have to think about is, we talked about this in the last episode, is that you can sue anybody for anything, but what is your desired outcome in the case? Is it just for the person to take the photo down, or are you wanting to be repaid for what gain they have? So what is your end goal is always a question that I'm asking when a person is asking questions like this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. And obviously, if someone just took a picture of me and it's for commercial use, that's one thing. Obviously, I'm either want it to be taken down and get some type of monetary amount based on what's happened with that, or, defamation, right? Like if this is some picture of me from a college party and someone drew on my face and it says, I'm not even getting into what's happened before, but like if that happened, right? I have a picture someone took that without my consent after a crazy party, drunk on the floor, and that gets posted on Facebook, and all of a sudden I'm getting all these negative comments, right? Like, that's very different. Obviously, I don't want any money. I just want it taken down, but there's something that's happened there that's, and I get your point. for pictures that have been taken in different situations, it depends on that situation, right? If I'm just walking down the street, smiling, saying, hey, look at this person, and that's posted, that's very different than what I just described.
You're drunk on the floor or you're passed out on the floor and somebody's taking a picture of you. Did the person have a right to be there? There's some assumption of the risk, and it's not defamation if it's true. So truth is always a defense to any of these defamation cases. So if they're posting photos of you and they're in a lawful position and they haven't taken any photo of a private area or personal area, of your body, or they're publishing some private area picture of you, meaning you're naked in some respect, then I don't know that you have much of a case. You can ask politely to have it taken down that it's harming your reputation, but it's true. You were there. You did that thing. They took a picture of you. They posted it. You may not like it. It may be boorish or rude, but it doesn't make it illegal necessarily. So,
well, that sucks.
Yeah, I know. So be careful. This is like what we got to teach our children, is to be very careful about what happens with social media, because
these cameras are crazy on these iPhones now. Like back in whatever year it was when I was in college, one of my first jobs was selling SanDisk mobile memory cards because it was a new thing to take a picture with a phone. Now everybody's got some professional camera in their pockets, or, the HD videos that can get posted. So I hear you. Like, teach your children not to do stupid things. Maybe that's what the title of this episode should be. Why are we talking about, can you sue someone for posting a picture? Just don't do stupid things and we don't even have to talk about this.
I think that's the headline. The other thing to keep in mind is that the people that you're around are a direct reflection on you. So if other people are going to be taking compromising pictures of you, then that's reflecting not only negatively on you, but you've made a bad decision to hang around that person and then put yourself in a bad position to have a picture taken of you. Now, always talk to an attorney, because there may have been some sort of invasion of privacy depending on where the picture was taken, etc. But most likely the attorney is going to tell you to buck up.
Great. Well, this went a little sideways because I had some other examples I want to talk about, but it all falls in the copyright world of, yes, you shouldn't do that thing of adjusting pictures for commercial use. I think those are the two headlines out of this conversation. Really, it's one, don't be stupid and teach your children the right things and to surround themselves with the right people so you don't have to worry about posting a picture like this. But then also, don't reuse someone's picture for commercial use. It's basically what you're telling me.
I want to do a longer conversation at some point about copyright and intellectual property rights, because I know it's a common question that we're getting. If people have more questions, they should be going to fairpunishment.org to post those questions and send them to us so we can answer questions here. But yeah, Andrew, I think you've done a good recap of what we talked about today and some of the key takeaways. This is Blaine Cluton for Andrew McGuire. I'm going to call this session adjourned. Thank you for joining.